In Void Train, you drive a train, but you don't start off with a big steam engine. You start off with a little pulley cart and then build your way up into a big steam engine with lots of wagons attached to it. I should probably give you some idea of what the story is. You play as an engineer who is mysteriously pulled into another dimension, and now you have to find a way out of here. I played the demo, which included all of the story set up like 4 months ago, and I can't remember what exactly is going on. I'm too lazy to replay the intro. I'm not gonna Google search to find out. I get the gist of it. I understand the general idea. I'm less concerned about the story and more concerned about the gameplay. I've been playing for 7 hours, and it feels like I'm still in the tutorial because I think I am. The game puts you on this cart, and as you slowly move forward, there are materials floating around you by the tracks. You're in this void sort of area. There's wood, metal, chemicals, some other stuff. All this is necessary, in particular the metal and the wood. You're going to need a lot of those. For a while, I was making my way down the tracks, starting and stopping to pick up all the materials as the game introduces new buildings for you to place on the cart, on your wagons. Eventually, you move through this giant building or gate or something, I don't know what it is, and you come to a little island where you can get off the train and explore a bit. This is where most of the story bits have been happening. There is a narrator, and the voice acting on that is good. So you have the little story bit on the island, collect resources like you do out on the train tracks, kill some people who are trying to kill you. I don't know much about these soldiers other than they're looking for me and they kind of look like Nazi stormtroopers, so that's an interesting choice. Back at the train stop you pulled into, there's an upgrade station where you can upgrade your carts, you can add more of them to the train, you can add an actual steam engine and get a little automation going with, you know, coal and water. I haven't gotten that far. 7 hours in, and at this point I'm feeling restless. What I have come to find is that this is a slow burn type of game, which is a problem for me because it's one thing if the game slowly ramps up. You take your time, you enjoy the core gameplay loop for a while, and learn about the story. The story is almost non-existent. You get it in drips of info from a narrator. I'm gonna call him Ted for simplicity, so I don't have to keep saying narrator or the narrator. Ted is well voiced, but doesn't seem to know anything. There was a mission where Ted said that something smells. We were at the station. Hey, something smells.
There's a smell. It's weird. I don't recognize it at all. Yeah, the smell is getting stronger. It's definitely here somewhere. Any ideas? Okay. Well, I get it. I mean, almost. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Except that they were studying some kind of a beast trapped in a rock in the lab. It was not difficult to overcome this flimsy wooden obstacle, was it? What's it in? It looks like amber. But it looks a bit heavy anyway. Can you handle it?
And it ended up being 2 items that I was supposed to pick up. Some piece of paper with directions on it for something, but Ted doesn't know. And a piece of amber with a creature trapped inside of it. No explanation for why I need these to progress the story, or why I should care about this at all, other than Ted said something smells, go look at it. The piece of paper is in the lab. Was it a lab that smells? Does the paper smell? I don't know what was on the paper. Ted said he read it, but didn't really pay attention to what it says.
Looks like the kind of machine we need. Not that I read those documents very thoughtfully. Anyway, let's get in there. I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
Does the amber with the creature inside of it smell? I don't know, the smell isn't brought up again. So the game is giving me objectives, but it's not telling me why it matters, why I should do it. It's just, here's the objective, do it because that's the objective, so go do it. The gameplay is not good. Most of it consists of slowly moving your train along the tracks and collecting resources so you can move on to the next phase of upgrades. I have to start and stop constantly because even if you're moving at the slowest speed, you're never going to be able to collect everything fast enough that's on both sides of the train and above and below it and all around you. I suppose you could speed through the train riding sections, ignoring the pickups and only gather material on the islands, but there's so much less to find on those islands, it would take longer to get to the next upgrade. You don't get a choice to go left, right, or straight. There's one track going in one direction, and that's it. The entire time on the track is spent collecting resources for more upgrades, which leads to more collecting, more upgrading, collecting, upgrading, collecting, upgrading. It goes on and on like that. There are various types of crafting tables that allow you to make different things. The kitchen allows you to make food, so you can eat and recover health. There's a smelter for turning metal into ingots. The lab makes things with chemicals and other ingredients. There's a workshop table where you can make gears, pipes, wire, pistons, stuff like that. All the upgrade materials that you need. I find myself stuck in crafting menus often, too often. There are some dangers on the track. These fish things can damage your train. They've introduced mines, which can be diffused when they attach to your train, or you can just shoot them from a distance, which is what I started doing, so I don't have to deal with diffusing them. It's not difficult to diffuse, you just have to hold down a button, you don't have to like do anything, but I just would rather shoot at the mines and get rid of them before they even come close to my train. This big fella I managed to kill once, and it just drops fat and leather. The fat and leather are a bit harder to come by. There aren't things that you find just floating around in the void. Maybe I definitely have found some leather, I don't know about the fat, on one of the islands. But I was expecting a unique material to drop. It took a long time to kill this thing with just a pistol, and there seems to be only one per section of track when you're between islands, so it kind of felt like a mini-boss. I was expecting more when I killed it. I'm still waiting for something interesting to happen. It seems like what I'm doing now is what I would be doing for the entire game. And by the way, the game does have co-op. I don't know if it's local co-op, but there's definitely online co-op, because you can find a game with other players. That might be better because you have other people to talk to. You would probably want to play the game with people that you actually know instead of just random people. Because then you can have a conversation and you can talk, and it's better that way. But if you're playing the game solo like I'm doing, I can't really recommend it. It would be great if as you play the game you're getting what you need to upgrade, but that's not the case. The grind for materials is the gameplay, with a few minutes here and there of shooting bad guys who are also happy to let you walk up to them and shoot them in the head. I was hoping for something more like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which this is the only example I can think of in my head right now, in that you play the game, sailing around, fighting other ships, going on missions, and along the way you get the materials that you need, the wood, the metal, the cloth, the whatever it was whatever materials that game had. Sailing around with a newly attached ram to the front of your ship and then charging full speed into another ship to cleave it in half, that's fun. What Void Train is doing is not fun because it doesn't have any gameplay. There's no gameplay here. I was hoping that Void Train would be more focused on the action with easy upgrades that you don't have to grind for, but that's not what's going on. The game is in early access. It started in May 2023. The Steam page says they plan to fully release the game in 2024. That could be any time in 2024. We don't know. Nobody knows. If you think this looks interesting, go ahead and wishlist it. I think there's enough good here that's worth a wish list, but I can't recommend buying it right now. I will keep an eye on this one. I'm not very enthused about it, but this is part of the process of early access games. I hope it improves. I hope it does well in the future. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.